All right, chapter 5, day 1. Chapter 5 is going to be all about all the itsy bitsy pieces of a triangle. I don't know what you're thinking. What do you mean, Smith? Triangle has three pieces, has three sides. What are you going to do? Well, here's the thing. There's other things that we can do to a triangle. For example, the first one is the angle bisector. Does what it kind of sounds like. It cuts the angle in half. Now, here's the thing. A AG here is an angle bisector. It bisects angle BAC, right? So it means that these two angles are congruent. Angle BAG is congruent to angle CAG, all right? And nothing else. The only thing that we can say is that angle BAG is congruent to angle CAG. That's it. We cannot say that BG is congruent to GC. That's not true at all. In fact, if you're ever not sure, draw a picture. If you've got an angle like this, or a triangle like this, make it so it bisects the angle. These two look pretty similar, but you can see that these two sides, it does not bisect the side. The only thing an angle bisector does is cut the angle in half. Then that brings us to perpendicular bisector. Perpendicular bisector means what it says. It takes one of the sides and it's perpendicular to it and it bisects it. Now, notice that the perpendicular bisector does not necessarily go through a vertex, right? An angle bisector certainly does because it's got to go and cut that angle in half, but a perpendicular bisector does not need to go through the vertex. There are some special cases where it does, and we'll get into that later. But the two big important parts is just what the name says. It's perpendicular, so it makes a right angle, and it bisects the side. It bisects the side that is perpendicular to. All right, so those are the two things that we're going to talk about today. AB is perpendicular bisector of CD. Write the equation of AB. So here's the thing. CD doesn't even matter where it's at. But, tell you what, since we got these 2 points, 2, 4 is where C is. 8, 12 is where D is. This is CD. It says that AB is a perpendicular bisector to CP, which means that AB is something like this. Now, we don't know where A is. We don't know where B is. A could be here and B here, or vice versa. We don't know where A and B are, but that doesn't matter. They're asking us write the equation of AB. This is going to go back to those line forms that we talked about a couple chapters ago. First of all, perpendicular bisector means it cuts this in half. So we need to know what this point is. And this point is called the midpoint. We need to find the midpoint. So the midpoint of CD is going to be, now remember, the midpoint, you average the x's, you average the y's. So in this case, it's going to be 2 plus 8 divided by 2 and 4 plus 12 divided by 2. Take the average. So this is going to be the point 5, comma 8. This midpoint here is the point 5, comma 8. Now, if only we want the equation, so we've got a point. We're going to need a slope, particularly if we're going to go with point slope form. All right, point slope form, we got the point. Boom, 5, 8 is right there. But we're going to need the slope. Now, the only 2 points that we've got is CD. So if nothing else, I'm just going to find the slope of CD and get 4 minus 12 divided by 2 minus 8. I got negative 8 divided by negative 6, which is positive 4/3. That's a positive slope, right? All right, so that makes sense. So if the slope of CD is 4/3, what do you think the slope of AB is going to be, or the slope of the perpendicular? The slope of the perpendicular is going to be negative 3/4. So I got a point. Now I've got a slope. They want the equation, and we always started off with point-slope form. Here's a point, there's a slope. Let's get to it. Y minus 8, remember we're using this point, equals negative 3/4 times x minus 5. Guess what? Since they didn't say what form, I'm down with point-slope form. You may stop right there. But just in case they say they want it in slope-intercept form, how do we get it in slope-intercept form? Well, you get y by itself, right? Slope-intercept form was y equals mx plus b. So y minus 8 equals negative 3/4 x plus 15/4. All right, add 8 to both sides. So you get y equals negative 3/4 x plus, adding 8 would add 32/4. So this would be 47/4. That's gross, but that's slope-intercept form. There it is. All right, so for these problems, find the midpoint, find the slope, and then the perpendicular slope. Then it's writing the equation of a line. All right, some more examples here. Go ahead and press pause. Talk with your peeps and hook up these 3 problems: angle bisector, perpendicular bisector, and perpendicular bisector. Talk to your people, and when you're done with these 3, then check your answers with mine. All right, so this first one, AB is an angle bisector. This is a distractor. This don't mean nothing. Angle bisector means that this is congruent to this. So you got 2x minus 10 is x plus 20. X is 30. X is 30 for the first one. Perpendicular bisector. 2y minus 10 is a right angle. So 2y minus 10 is 90. You get 2y is a hundo. Y is 50. Then it's perpendicular, so that means that this is congruent to this. That means that x squared plus 5x equals 9x plus 12. Uh-oh, I got x squared and x. What are we going to have to do? Factor. So you got x squared minus 4x minus 12 is equal to 0. What multiplies the negative 12 adds up to negative 8. You got x minus 6 times x plus 2 equals 0. So you got x is equal to 6, and you got x is equal to negative 2. The only thing is, can x be negative 2? Might work here, but I'm looking here. 9 times negative 2 is negative 18, plus 12 is negative 6. Negative 2 cannot work. That is extraneous. X is equal to 6. Got these crisscrossed, but y'all can follow that, right? Sure. That brings us to the third one. Angle bisector BD. That means that this is congruent to this. This is at ABC. This whole thing, ABC, is 2x plus 8. ABD, this guy, is 3x minus 6. So that means we need 2 of these guys to get 1 of these guys. All right, so we got 6x minus 12 equals 2x plus 8. 4x is equal to 20. X is 5. All right. What's going on here? This last one. XY is a perpendicular bisector of CB. X is on CB. So perpendicular bisector means that it's perpendicular like this. It's perpendicular and it bisects this. If X is on CB, that means that this here must be X. So what is the coordinates of X? long story short, you get x is 5 11/2 or 5.5. What is the slope of xy? Well, the slope of CB is 10 minus 1 divided by negative 4 minus 14, which is negative 9 divided by negative 18, which is positive 1/2. So then what would be the slope of xy? It'd be the opposite, negative, and reciprocal, negative 2. That's the only thing that they're asking for. So, angle bisectors and perpendicular bisectors. Be careful. Don't get tricked by extra information. Ignore the stuff, ignore the noise, and just go with what the thing is telling you. These two are congruent and nothing else. All right? And then, yeah, practice this. I know that this is going to be the sticky part. Check this out. If you got questions, bring that tomorrow. Smith out!